Parent company in effect.
Get ready for the boldest way to Baja, Mexico. Morris Columbus Travel and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines are excited to announce the Ovation of the Seas, the biggest ship in the West, sailing from LA starting in June. Enjoy skydiving, a water park, bumper cars, and flow rider surf lessons on your way to Ensenada and Cabo. Call Morris Columbus Travel to book today.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the Garden Guide. This is Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and the sun is shining, the sky is blue. It is time for us to get outside and really have a great time out in the garden. Good grief, I'm so tired of snow and rain and clouds, and it's really nice to see the sunshine, and we're ready to get going. So if you haven't been into Anderson Seed and Garden in the last couple of weeks, we have all the bare root plants are in. So we've got bare root trees, we've got bare root raspberries, bare root strawberries, onions, asparagus. We have potatoes in stock. We have gooseberries and currants and blueberries and blackberries. And let's see, what else have we got? God, we've got a little bit of everything. Black raspberries. We've got golden raspberries as well, too. It's time to get outside and get some stuff going. We actually have another shipment of fruit trees coming in on Tuesday. So by the middle of next week, we'll have pretty much everything in stock that we're going to have for fruit trees for this spring. And they're ready to go. They're ready to be planted, and weather's going to be perfect next week. Looks like we got some nice 60s and 70s. Did you look at the forecast, Jason? It looks pretty good.
This weekend's going to be nice.
It's looking really, really nice.
A few days of winter to remind us, and then back to spring.
Yeah. I'm going to take my onion plants home tonight, and I'm going to soak them overnight. And tomorrow, even though it's conference weekend, it's okay to go out there with your hoe and just like dig a little hole and put some plants in there. That's not even considered working on the Sabbath as far as I'm concerned.
That's fun.
That's fun. That's right. We're going to have some fun on the Sabbath. I'm not going to run the tiller through the entire garden. No. But the peas might just happen to get planted tomorrow, and the onions just might happen to get planted tomorrow, because I know it's not going to happen today because it's going to be busy at Anderson Seed. So we're ready for the crowds to come in, because I think just like us, everybody's excited to be outside. Pansies are in stock. They look amazing. We've got a great deal going on primrose. I think it's 2 for $4, which makes them like better than half price on the primrose. There's some really pretty primrose as well too, and just all kinds of great plants. So all the vegetable plants are in. So we've got cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. There were some pea sprouts that I happened to nibble on yesterday because they're really, really good. Those little pea tendrils are just like absolutely delicious. So they may have gotten trimmed a tiny bit in the greenhouse and put into my mouth. So that's what happens sometimes. But all those early crops are in and ready to be planted. And then in the next few weeks, we've got some great classes coming at Anderson Seed and Garden. So today we actually have a class at 3:00, and it is on how to make a pansy wreath. So this is to make a living natural wreath out of pansies, and there is a cost to it. It's $45, but you get the pansy, like the wreath frame, you get the sphagnum moss, you get everything you need to create it, as well as a whole bunch of pansies to plant in it, and they are darling. They're really, really cute. And you do need to sign up on our website for that. And so you would definitely want to sign up for that to be able to participate in the class. But the pansy wreath class is really, really a lot of fun. And then you get to take it home, and it grows and it produces flowers all spring, and you can have it on your front door. And it's actually a really cool project if you want something hands-on. And then in the next couple of weeks, we've got a grafting class with USU, but I think that class might be full already. That's such a popular class that one could be full. Planting event is coming up the end of this month, the 25th of April. Our spring open house is in just a couple weeks, and that is the 17th through the 19th of April as well, too. And just all kinds of fun things happening at Anderson's this month. This month is like, let's get ready to garden. Yeah, that's what we're trying to tell everybody. So
I want to give a shout out quick to your these lists that you have at AndersonSeedandGarden.com. In fact, the flower, seed, and cover crop list.
Oh yeah,
last week I was going through that. You've got them. There's a legend. You got them coded for different types of, from pollinator plants to cover crops.
Right.
And yeah, I got my red clover down.
Very
ready
good.
to go.
Very good. A lot of people are planting their cover crops. Some people planted their cover crops last fall and are getting ready to till those all in. And the seed list has like all the vegetable seeds on there, but it also tells you how deep and how far apart, how much space to put between the rows, and when to plant things, so you know when is the right time of year to plant.
Sure.
And same thing with the flower guide too. So it's got all the varieties of flowers that we carry. It's got all that planting information on the backside, and then it has some really good information on the cover crops as well too. So it's amazing what you can find when you go on AndersonSeedandGarden.com. There's like so much information and tons of videos as well too. So you can go in and watch how to plant your carrots. If you're struggling to get your carrots to come up, I've got a video right there that shows you how to plant your carrots. And in many cases, if you go to an individual vegetable, like say you're having a hard time getting your corn to produce, you can go into our corn section and look at the varieties of corn, but then there's a link where you can click on it, and it'll take you right to the instructions on how to plant the corn, how to fertilize it, how to grow it, how to harvest it, and all that information as well there too for every single vegetable that we have in our catalog of vegetables. All that planting information is just like right there, easy to get, fingertips. So super easy.
And it's time, right?
And it is.
This was always known as the St. Patrick's Day was always known as sweet pea season.
Yeah.
In my family, that's when you put that stuff down.
Normally by St. Patrick's Day we like to have our peas in, but this year the soil's been so wet and it's been so cold and unsettled that I haven't got mine planted. So that's what I'm saying. This weekend, the garden got tilled last week, but I still couldn't get stuff planted. So this weekend, onions, peas, spinach, lettuce, radishes, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, those can all go in right now. We're starting to kind of transition into the next category of cold crops, which would be carrots, beets, chard, potatoes, parsnips. It's time to get those planted as well too. So, and it's time to get some bulbs planted too. So we have a special guest on the show today. We have Hank Stuifbergen from Stuifbergen Bulbs. Hank,
good morning.
Thanks for coming all the way from Holland to come find us.
Yeah, I flew in yesterday.
And you're leaving tonight. So
absolutely.
Not sure why anybody from Holland would want to stay here right now. So, but we'll talk about that on For the People next time. Yeah.
That's definitely
since Jason's here to run the show today, we'll talk about that on another day. So,
I notice the spring is 2 weeks behind.
We are behind. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All over the nation.
All over the nation?
Yeah. Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah. It has been, I wouldn't say it's been like a really, really cold March, but it's definitely been colder than normal and really, really wet. And people haven't been able to plant stuff.
Yeah. I went to the Salt Lake Temple yesterday, and the hyacinths are blooming.
Yeah.
That never happened before, that they're blooming during the conference.
During conference, yeah. It's usually the tulips blooming in conference, and this year, not so much.
No.
Yeah.
Just in bud states.
Yeah, not so much. So that means the soil's really cold.
Yeah.
You know, even though we had a really mild winter, the soil is still really, really cold. There's like here in the valley, there's no buds popping on the trees yet. So it's just
mild winter. We had 10 degrees below zero.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, my dad served in the military, and he was at Fort Bragg there in Kansas, and he said it would snow really heavy one time in like December, and then the wind would just blow the same snow around all the rest of the winter.
That's true.
But he said it was really cold.
Yeah.
He said it was really cold. So I guess it's not all that unusual for that to happen. But okay, so interesting to find out that that's kind of what's happening all around the country as well too. So, and you sell bulbs all over the country.
Yeah, we do.
From northeast to southwest and everything in between.
And northwest.
Yeah, everything in between. So it's really a little bit early for us to plant them outside, but a lot of bulbs we could kind of start growing inside, couldn't we?
You can, and dahlias, you can plant them outside mid-April.
Yeah, ours just came in yesterday.
Yeah.
They came in yesterday,
Okay.
so very excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting those to us. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when the bulbs show up. So maybe they're a little bit late showing up this year, but really, with the weather, they're
cold weather.
They're right on time. They're right on time. Yeah. So we could start dahlias inside, but in a couple weeks, you could actually just plant them right outside.
Also, you can plant them outside mid-April, and then maybe the frost will snap them off, but they come back.
They'll come right back.
Yeah, willows you can plant, they're hardy.
Yeah, the lilies. Yeah, we've got some nice lily varieties in as well, too. And then glads, we probably want to either start them indoors or wait a little bit on those.
I would wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can stage them. It takes always 90 days to bloom.
Okay, on the glads.
Yeah, after planting.
So almost exactly 3 months when you plant them.
Yeah.
So
if you stage them every 2 weeks, you have flowers the whole.
Then you have flowers also. Now that's interesting. So I think everybody usually buys them and just plants them all at once. Yeah. I would say that's probably pretty common for most people to do that.
But if you want to use them as good flowers throughout the summer, yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, so you just plant a bunch every 2 weeks, and then every 90 days they'll just bloom. The great thing about the glads is they stay really dormant a little bit longer. They're really nice. So I mean, if you keep them in a good storage location, they don't go bad fast. Not at all. Yeah, not at all. So what's the best place to keep them? Like, say you want to plant them in 3 different plantings. So we're going to plant them over a month's time period. What's the best way to keep them until you get that last batch planted?
Well, just in a dark place around 55, 60 degrees.
Okay. So cool and kind of dry in the basement.
Yeah, absolutely.
60 degrees.
Yeah.
Would someone who doesn't have a good location like that want to maybe put them in the refrigerator? Is that
can do that,
is that too cold or?
No, it's not too cold.
Not too cold. So refrigerator would probably be okay.
We can store gladiols in Holland for 2 years at 32 degrees.
For 2 years?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. Okay. Did not know that. No. Yeah, because some of the other bulbs, they kind of start to deteriorate pretty quickly. But the glads, no.
Gladiols, anemones, and ranunculus.
Yeah. Oh, and the ranunculus are so beautiful right now. Like we just got some in from Rudy's, and we got some in from Allen's, which are 2 of our local growers here in the valley and just over the mountain. And they are so pretty right now, just gorgeous, bright, vibrant colors, and big blossoms this year on them.
So all they have to do is plant them.
Yeah. So I always get questions on the ranunculus. It's like, do we treat them like a perennial? They're just not quite hardy enough to make it.
They're not hardy enough.
Yeah, they're just not hardy enough to make it.
But if you cover them up with some dead leaf or mulch, they will survive.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends on the location.
Yeah. And they only bloom for, 3 weeks, and then they're...
Yeah, 3-4 weeks. But if you disbud them, they keep blooming.
Ah, so just take the buds off, but leave the stems.
The same with anemones.
Yeah.
Well, same as marigolds.
Right. So take the flower buds off
after blooming.
Okay, but leave the stems, or do you want to take the stems off too?
No, the stem has the nutrition.
Okay, so leave the stems, take the flower buds off, and they'll bloom longer. All right, that's good to know, because they are so pretty, and when they come in the store early in the spring, everybody just goes crazy for them, and they want them to bloom longer.
And they're nice, good flowers.
Yeah. Oh, just so pretty.
A small bouquet. And
yeah. Because it seems like every year I've got people that come in, they're like, how do I get these to bloom all summer? And it's like, well, you really can't, but if we can extend their bloom period a little bit longer, That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Here on the Garden Guide, we're talking to Hank Stuifbergen from Stuifbergen Bulbs. And if you would like to join our conversation, the phone number is 435-753-KVNU or 753-5868. And I believe Jason's even like capable of running the board and answering the phone.
Yeah, we can take calls.
I know sometimes on your other show we have a little trouble getting.
It gets a little tough unless they call during a break.
Getting phone calls, yeah, getting phone
There's
calls.
enough of us here today.
That we can manage.
do it.
All right, 753-5868, 753-KVNU. If you've got questions for me or for Hank about bulbs, we're answering questions about lawns, fruit trees. We're planting fruit trees. We're pruning. And we're doing some dormant spray right now as well, too, and planting all kinds of vegetables and flowers that can handle the cold outside right now. So we've got lots of things we can talk about here on the Garden Guide. And we've got Hank Stuifbergen with Stuifbergen Bulbs here to talk about bulbs. So I had somebody in the store the other day, and they were like, where are the daffodils and the hyacinths? You know,
I know. That happens.
I know. It's just like, well, let me tell you, they're beautiful outside right now, but you really have to plant those in the fall.
Absolutely. They need the cold treatment.
Yeah. So we've talked about this on the show before, but tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, all your fall planted bulbs, we're going to plant those in September and October. Yeah. They need how many weeks of cold weather?
Around 12, 14 weeks.
12 to 14 weeks of cold weather.
Variety.
And that can be, as cold as
below 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Ground temperature.
Yeah. But we've had some really, really cold weather here before, 20 below, 30 below.
Well, this year
and they seem to do fine.
This year I was at Pick Your Own Tool farms in Texas.
Yeah.
They were very short, about 4 inches.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. I called some of my competitors. We came to the conclusion that 10 below zero had to do with it.
Yeah, kind of damaged them there in Texas.
Damaged the roots.
Yeah.
And the whole winter was cold and dry.
Yeah. Probably the dry might have had more to do with it than the cold.
The cold was snapped off.
Because maybe they don't plant theirs as deep as ours.
They were planted 4 inches.
Yeah. So around here we usually have people plant 6, and we've had sub-zero temperatures for 2 weeks at a time.
I'm glad you bring it up because there was another garden in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They planted 6 inches and they were perfect.
Yeah.
So it was just borderline.
Yeah. So I would suspect in Texas they don't maybe plant them quite as deep, but we can get 20 below. A couple of years ago, we had almost 30 below for 2 weeks, and the flowers just were awesome. They were amazing. But we also have a lot of snow cover.
Yeah.
And that kind of insulates as well, too. So
they don't have that in Texas.
Not really. Yeah. Which part of Texas is that?
San Antonio.
And San Antonio. They can actually get bulbs to bloom in San Antonio?
Well, we do the pre-cooling. Pick Your Own Tulips.
I was going to say, yeah.
And they plant about 150,000.
That's all.
Yeah.
150,000.
None of them bloomed. It's too cold. And
that's a pretty good size investment to not have bloom.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like how they get tulips to bloom in San Diego, right? Yeah, so pre-cool them.
San Antonio.
Yeah. San Antonio, San Diego, same thing, Yeah. Different parts of the country, but same thing. So it's not very nice. They have such beautiful weather all winter, and then we have to deal with the yucky weather. But we do get to plant our bulbs and not have to pre-cool them. So that's nice. That's really nice. Okay, so getting back to my customers, so they came in, they're like, where are the tulips? Where are the daffodils? Where are the hyacinths? And so I explained to them, and I don't think they were satisfied. Yeah. They're just like, well, okay, I have to wait 6 months. It's like, yeah.
Well, you have to educate the people.
It takes a little bit of time, but once people start planting those bulbs, then they get hooked. And then they love them, and then they want to replant new ones, every year, because they are so beautiful when they start blooming, like right now. So you're saying at Temple Square right now for conference weekend, the hyacinths are blooming. Yeah.
Crocus, daffodils, beautiful.
Which is very unusual. Very, very unusual, because it's usually you see the pictures of conference and all the people that are going and walking in the front doors, and there's tulips all over the place blooming. So 2 weeks behind schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 weeks behind schedule. So, all right. So we can anticipate that
And the same with all your other seed programs.
Yeah.
All 2 weeks later.
And I say all of our trees are going to be like blooming in 3 weeks now instead of a couple.
Perfect for Easter.
Yeah, we'll be perfect for Easter. Easter is a little bit late this year, so yeah, that's Easter's pretty late, so that's all right. Well,
Next year is perfect. First weekend of April.
it would be nice to have an early spring one of these days. It's been 3 years that we've had some really late springs, and it would be nice to have a little bit earlier year, but. And we'll take what we get. We have plenty of water here in the northern part of the state. So you probably heard on the news that Utah's been kind of struggling for water, but it's mostly the lower third of the state. The upper part, we're all at 100% or greater.
There's plenty snow in the mountains.
Yeah, there really is, and it's surprising because we did not have much snow down here and very little snow cover, but. Lots of snow up there, lots of rain, and so our watershed's pretty full and ready to go. And hopefully, it doesn't all come down at once because
I hope so. Too.
It could change really fast, and all of a sudden we've got 80-degree temperatures, and all that snow starts to come down. So, but we'll be ready for it, and we have some plants that need a little drink through the middle of the summer, so it's kind of nice to have. If you would like to join our conversation here on the Garden Guide, 753-5868, 753-KVNU, and it's Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and Hank Stuifbergen with Stuifbergen Bulbs. We're talking spring bulbs, we're talking flowering bulbs, we're going to be talking about anything that you'd like to call in and ask questions about. So it's a great time to be outside. We've got some great specials and sales going on at Anderson Seed and Garden. Didn't mention this at the top of the show, but this year we decided to do shade and flowering tree sale as well as our bare root sale for our fruit trees. And so we didn't bring them in bare root because we've found in the past it's hard to deal with the bare root shade and flowering trees. They don't cooperate with us very well. And so we contracted with one of our growers to bring in some nice 5-gallon, a little bit smaller trees, but they're still like 5 to 6 feet to 7 feet tall. So they're not little guys. And great specials, great deals on those. We've got 30% off our 5-gallon flowering trees and shade trees, and we probably have about 35 different varieties to choose from. And the flowering trees are all starting to bloom right now. They're gorgeous. We've had them inside the greenhouse, so it's been a little bit warmer for them. So they're all starting to bloom right now, and they look amazing. All of the trees are starting to leaf out. And at 30% off, regular price, you can't beat it, and it kind of puts the price in the same category as the bare root fruit trees because they end up being about 25 to 30% off bare root as well too. So really great time if you want to plant some trees, if you want to plant some fruit trees, excellent time of year to do that with the bare root trees. And then we've got raspberries and strawberries and asparagus and blueberries and blackberries and gooseberries and currants and all that fun stuff is coming in. And our grapes are going to be here finally this week as well too. So
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
If I have a nice lawn, is it about time to put fertilizer on?
It is. In fact, getting mine done today.
Oh, you did already this morning?
Well, I've got somebody coming to do it for me. So that's what happens when your wife says you're too busy to do that. Here, I'll just schedule the guys from Logan Extermination to come and do it for you, and that works out great because then. I don't have to worry about it, and they do a really great job. Mm-hmm. So, but we put our Humate on a couple weeks ago, and so lawn is really perking up and looking really good, and it kind of eats up all the thatch and the dead grass clippings. And so I just mow the lawn once in the springtime, and all the dead stuff's like gone. I don't have to go out there and rake and do a whole lot of work. But usually a couple weeks after we put the Humate on, then we'll put the fertilizer on, so I don't have to mow every 5 days when spring's really going. So it is quite nice. And so we've got some people putting a pre-emergent on to prevent like crabgrass and foxtail and goosegrass and spurge and things like that. But if you don't have problems with those, just a good fertilizer like a 23-316 or a Southwest Greenmaker or 16-16-16 for a nice general purpose fertilizer, really good time to do that. And if you want to go organic, 100% organic, we've got some really, really great lawn fertilizers that are all natural and will do a really, really great job. So that's a good question, Hank. Do you have a lawn?
No.
No lawn in Holland.
20 years ago, I bought all cobblestones from the city of Holland, 400 years old.
Yeah.
And I used it in the backyard.
So you have a hardscape.
Yeah.
You have a hardscape. So do many people have turf lawns or?
In Holland, there is a law if you remove all your tile, or how you call it, the bricks and the cobblestones.
Yeah.
you pay less taxes.
There you go.
So the water can drain better. And,
that kind of makes sense. And turf is really great for drainage and absorbing that
And
water.
kids.
And and kids.
So they can play in it.
Hey, that sounds great. All right, we're going to take a really quick break here at the Garden Guide. But when we come back, we're going to talk more bulbs. And if you want to call in with questions or comments, you're welcome to be a part of the show. 753-5868, 753-KVNU. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump calls his tariffs an economic revolution, writing on social media, quote, hang tough. It won't be easy, but in the end, it will be worth it. The two-day stock market sell-off was one reaction to the sweeping tariffs. Another could be higher prices for American consumers. But when will we notice? ABC's Alexis Christoforous says experts say that fruit and vegetable prices might be higher in a matter of weeks.
A little longer for packaged goods and alcohol. And when it comes to clothing and appliances, expect higher prices there in the next 4 to 6 months. Cars are expected to cost more in the next 1 to 2 months after dealers sell off their current inventory.
China announced 34% retaliatory tariffs and said today the U.S. uses tariffs as a weapon to exert extreme pressure and seek private interests. Flood watch is in place into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley as more heavy rain is expected. Flooding and severe weather is blamed for at least 9 deaths. This is ABC News.
I'm Jim Baskell. We start on ice. Friday, the grade 8 gets even with the grade 1.
And away from Mangiapane, second unit here. Ovechkin, he scores! Alex Ovechkin has 8.94, and the bench empties here at Capital One Arena. Ovechkin has reached the summit. He needs one more to go one step beyond. He has tied Wayne Gretzky for the most all-time in NHL history.
Capitals Radio Network. Alex Ovechkin ties Wayne Gretzky's NHL record of 894 career goals. He scored a pair in their 5-3 win over the Blackhawks. Capitals have 6 games left in the regular season. The women's title game is set. UConn into the national title. Easy, 85-51 over UCLA. Sarah Strong, 22. AZ Fudd, all 19 of her points in the first half. Huskies 1 win away from a 12th national championship. This marked the first 30-point win ever in a Final Four game. Defending national champion South Carolina will be there, returning to that title game after overwhelming Texas 74-57. They're a win away from becoming the first team since UConn to win back-to-back titles. The Huskies had won 4 straight from 13-16. That title game on ABC Sunday at 3 Eastern. NBA, Jalen Green, 34. Houston snaps OKC's 11-game win streak, 125-111. Steph Curry, 36. Warriors best the Nuggets, 118-104. Jaylen Brown, 31. Celtics break the three-point record for a season in their 123-103 win over the Suns. Donovan Mitchell, 26. Cleveland a point better than San Antonio. And 1 year after finishing with the worst record in the league, Detroit is playoff bound after the 117-105 win over Toronto. From baseball, the Dodgers and Padres, they suffer their first losses. The Braves, the last to get their first win. And Jose Ramirez, 3 home runs, and the Guardians win over the Angels.
Cox Honeyland in South Logan has a whole new assortment of spring gifts and decor for your home and spinners for your yard. Mention this ad and save $5 if you spend $25 or more. It's also time to add to your food storage, and local Cache Valley honey is a must. They have local raw honey, gourmet creamed honey, flavored honey, and fresh honey butter. While you're there, grab some of their famous fudge, popcorn, or a gift basket. Cox Honeyland and Gifts on South Highway 89, Logan. Hurry, the sale ends soon.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance, reminding you that when you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
The expert with a green thumb. It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome back to the Garden Guide. I'm Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and we're here and we've got a special guest on the show. We've got Hank Stuifbergen from Stuifbergen Bulbs, and so we've been talking spring planted bulbs. We've been talking fall planted bulbs that are blooming right now, and we've been talking lawns and all kinds of different things going on at Anderson Seed and Garden. So just for an update, we've got some really great sales going on at Anderson's this time of year, especially spring when there's so many fun things going on outside. We've got herbs, 4-inch herbs that are half price. We have some beautiful blooming primrose that are 2 for $4 just today. So if you mentioned that, you heard that on the radio, you can get primroses 2 for $4, which is a really great price. We have a couple classes coming up. We've got a giant pumpkin growing class that is next weekend. I think it is at 1 o'clock. And it's time to start your giant pumpkins if you want to do some huge pumpkins to enter in for the Giant Pumpkin Festival this fall, which is September 27th. So that should be a great time. Last year, my pumpkins got to be 650 pounds. So you can do it. 650 pounds. Yeah. So they were massive, and it was really fun. And I didn't try like super hard.
Pies are that?
Oh,
is that?
You know what? I think per pound of pumpkin, you can get like 2 pies.
1,300 pies.
Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot of pies. So, but we've got the giant pumpkin growing class, and we'll help you get you through the process of starting those seeds and getting them going, and kind of show you how to grow those throughout the year. And that's really a lot of fun. And then today we have our pansy wreath class. That's at 3 o'clock.
This is interesting. This is living.
Yeah, so this is a living wreath, and it's $45 for the class, but you get the frame, you get all the moss, you get all the growing medium that you need to do it, and then all the pansies to create a wreath with. And it's probably it's like an 18-inch wreath, so it's pretty good size. And then after you get it growing, you can put it on your front door, and you just hydrate it up every couple of days because it holds moisture really well. And we have found that it's better if you've got it on a door that is north-facing instead of a door that is south-facing, because it dries out really fast on the south-facing. But on the north-facing, sometimes it'll go 2, 3, 4 days before you have to water it again. But then the pansies will bloom and bloom and bloom and bloom, all spring, and if it's in a shady location, they'll bloom a good portion of the summer as well too. So they're really, really cute. They're a lot of fun to do. This is a hands-on class, 3 o'clock today, $45 to participate, and you get all the materials that you need to build your wreath. And then we've got our expert David that's going to show you how to build it. So he's done some really cool wreaths lately. It's been really a lot of fun. And then coming up, the end of this month is our free planting event. So if you've never participated in the free planting event, it is on Saturday the 26th. You do need to register for a spot because we have so many people that participate. We have to kind of spread them out throughout the day. Otherwise, we have everybody showing up all at once, and then we don't have enough help to take care of everybody. So you have to sign up for a time period. But usually we can get about 6 or 8 people every 15 minutes. And then I have enough helpers to try and keep that going. But you come in, you pick out the flowers that you want, you buy the flowers, you take it to the planting area. You either bring your own planters in or you buy some new planters, and then we will pot them up for you. And we provide the soil for free and the labor for free. But if you want bark down in the bottom, or if you want some fertilizer, we'll charge you a very reasonable price for those. But you buy your plants, buy a new planter, bring your older planters in, and then we will pot them up for free, and we provide the soil as well too. So this is a great event, and it's a lot of fun. We have tons of participation every year, but you do need to sign up for it. It's not a kind of a show up and make it happen. And you can't bring like your horse trough to have us fill it up with soil. It's got to be relatively mobile, so you can move the planter around after we plant it up.
No backing in with a trailer to the truck. Huh?
No, I'm going to plant the back of my truck with flowers this year, and so no, we don't do that. So yeah, usually it's like 24 inches is kind of our our max. So we've done some whiskey barrels for people, but they're really hard to move around after you plant them up. So I mean, we've got to be somewhat reasonable on the sizes because we're not going to move your planter around with the forklift to get it back out to your truck. So I don't know. Do any of the other garden centers that you work with, Hank? Do any of them do stuff like that with like a replanting event? That's kind of fun.
They'll do.
Yeah.
Also, I know garden centers where they invite people in January, February.
Yeah.
But they fill up their own planters and they baby them.
Yeah, until the season's like ready to go. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have enough space to do that. Yeah, just not enough room where we're downtown. If we had like another acre of greenhouses, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'd actually really enjoy doing that. We just don't have the space to make it happen. So, but not too bad. So lots of fun things happening at Anderson Seed and Garden. All the bare root trees are in. All the bare root small fruits are in. Potatoes are here. Onion plants, I got a great selection right now. Onion sets are in. Seeds are all here except for one variety of carrot that everybody's asking for. And it shipped out the other day, so it should be here by the first part of the week. So pretty much everything's here at Anderson Seed and Garden. And our spring bulbs finally showed up, Hank.
Yep.
Spring bulbs. Woohoo. So we decided dahlias we can plant inside right now or outside in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Lilies can go outside like immediately. Yep. They're tough. Even if they've got the little buds on them, you can And how deep do we plant the lilies?
About 4 inches.
4 inches deep on the lilies. So they're going to be a couple weeks before they come up.
And even when they show a sprout in the back, those are the best.
They're with a little bit of sprout on them.
Yeah, just them sideways and the stem roots are coming on the side. And those are the main. If you look at the Easter lily, you see all the roots on the top of the bulb.
Interesting.
And that's what the grower is looking at.
So you want to plant them on the side instead of like pointing straight up. Okay, I did not know that.
Well, then it takes a few inches more to make
to get them to come up, but they root better that way. Yeah. All right, that is one thing I've never ever done. So I've learned something new today too. So lilies, like
even at your age, you still learn.
I know you still learn. I learn stuff every day. Asiatic and Oriental lilies, plant them on their side, not flat.
Yeah, that's correct.
On the bottom. Okay, did not know that. All right, and gladiolas, we discussed that we're going to plant them every two weeks. Yeah, and we're going to start planting those 1st of May. Yeah, so we're gonna wait a month for that. So you could plant some the 1st of May, the 15th of May, the 31st of May, and even like on Flag Day on the 14th of June, and then you'd have gladiolas blooming almost the entire summer.
Yeah, that's correct.
That is awesome. And then when they start to bloom, like, do you bring them in when they just like barely first start to pop open the flowers and then cut
the
them?
First one, the one on the bottom. As soon as that one shows a little bit color, cut them off.
And then
bring me inside.
And then they'll bloom all indoors. And that's usually like a couple week period to get them all to flower. So you can have cut flowers blooming inside for probably a couple weeks if you cut those stems at the right time.
That's correct.
And there's so many great colors on the gladiolas. Like,
unbelievable.
So pretty. Yeah, so pretty. We've got lots of great colors to choose from. And I think ours come in bags of 10. I think there's like 10 or 12.
10.
Yeah, per bag. And so you could try like 6 or 7 different colors, and they're not that expensive. They're just really not that expensive. So great way to go with the gladiolas. Did I see a phone call coming through?
We do. We have Kathy on the line.
Good morning, Kathy. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning. I planted some tulips, probably 10 years ago, and they're growing fine, but I haven't done anything with them since I planted them. What should I be doing with them?
What was the question?
Tulips. She planted a bunch of tulips about 10 years ago or so, and she hasn't really fertilized or done anything to them. What does she need to do, Hank?
Just spread a little bit manure around them, old cow manure. That's it.
Yeah. Or poultry manure.
And a little bit nitrogen, NAMG.
Yeah. So little bit of slow release nitrogen. And a nice composted manure would be wonderful. Not fresh. we want composted. Yeah. So
if it's too fresh, it will burn. Everything.
Yeah. The soil building conditioner is one of my favorites because it's got that finely ground redwood bark. It's been composted with poultry manure and bat guano and worm castings and kelp meal and all kinds of good stuff in there, and it doesn't smell like poop anymore. So.
Thank you.
That's the best kind.
I've looked at them and they've grown all right, but I just did not know what to do with them.
Yeah.
And when they are done blooming, just this button.
Yeah. Take the buds off.
So all the energy is going back to the nitrogen is going back to the bulb.
Yeah, see, and that's something I learned just like last year or the year before. Don't cut the whole flower stem off. Just take the flower bud off and leave the stems on so that the stems will feed the bulbs back again.
I know the falls looks ugly, but if you plant them in combination with dicentras or bleeding hearts, as soon as the tulips are done blooming, the dicentra takes over and hides
the foliage. Yeah.
So you have a nice combination.
What is it called? Dicentra?
The bleeding hearts is a dicentra. Yeah. So that'll work great.
Good. I like bleeding hearts, so I'll plant those up.
So pretty. We actually have some at the store right now, and I've got more coming in. So.
Oh, good, because I think those are beautiful.
They are so pretty. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks for calling in this morning. All right. So we've got phone lines open here at the Garden Guide, 753-5868, 753-KVNU if you'd like to join our conversation. And we've got Hank Stuifbergen with Stuifbergen Bulbs, and we were talking bulbs, spring bulbs, and fall bulbs as well, too. And it's about time to order amaryllis for winter, too. It's like, I know it blows people away when we talk about stuff that we're like ordering for next year. And
I was in Houston 3 weeks ago, and one landscape, they planted 4,000 amaryllis red in the front of his house.
Yeah. 4,000?
Yeah.
Holy smoke.
Well, he had the money to pay for it.
I was going to say, somebody's got plenty of money to,
But they planted them over there in February, and they were blooming in 5 weeks. So it was perfect.
That sounds amazing. That really does sound amazing. So I've got customers coming in the store right now, and they're like, you don't have this particular apple in stock. Can you order it for me? And I was like, yeah, sure. I already put my order in for next year, but I'll see if I can add it to my order for next year. And it's like, we're ordering that stuff a year in advance. And if we don't order a year in advance, we don't get it. Yeah. Like, period. We don't get it. And so we have to put those orders in so early for some of our fruit trees and really some of our plants. Like the minute that the fruit trees show up, the first week of March, I'm already putting my order in for the next year before we've even sold a single tree this year.
But the same with the Christmas trees.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it's it takes a lot of planning and preparation for us to have all this product showing up, for spring. I mean, asparagus I ordered last June. Strawberries I ordered in July for them to show up in March. And it's interesting how early we have to order all those plants so that they can be produced and ready to go for you to enjoy right now. So right now we've got a great selection of raspberries in stock. We've got a great selection of strawberries, and a lot of the stuff we have to plan a year in advance to be able to get it and have it available for our customers and to beautify our valley with. But fortunately, we do have some really great growers locally here that grow all of our flowers. So right now we've got pansies from Rudy's and from Allen's. We've got ranunculus, we've got primroses, and those can all handle the cold. So they're great to go out right now. I've got all the vegetable plants that can be planted right now, and some that you probably shouldn't plant right now. Like we've got some tomatoes and some peppers and a few things that are not really hardy for outdoors right now. But all the cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, peas, spinach, they can all go outside right now. And with the weather coming up that we've got in the next week, they will get established and get going like immediately. So it's good.
What's your last chance of frost?
Our last frost generally is around the 20th of May.
And then you can plant your tomato plants?
Yeah.
That late?
Yeah, that late, yeah. But some people will plant them a little bit earlier, and they'll put like walls of water or aquadomes on them. Or, hot caps. I was teaching a class the other night, and hot caps give you about 2 or 3 degrees of added protection.
Okay.
And the same with the frost cloth. So instead of freezing at 32, they'll be good to maybe like 29 degrees. And you can't let your frost cloth or your hot caps touch the plants. You got to have that. You got to have that layer of air in between them. So don't let them touch the plants because it'll freeze it right through the fabric or the plastic or even the the wax paper.
And if you turn your sprinkler system on?
It'll pull the cold out of the air and freeze it, but then the plants will be protected. Yeah, for sure. So 2 to 3 degrees of added protection with a hot cap. If you get some of the harder plastic covers, like the Grow It Now covers that are made in just like southern Idaho, those will give you about 5 degrees of added protection. So they generate a lot more heat, they retain more heat, and they have a little bit more resilience to them. You can use those for quite a few years before they start to break down. And then if you use a wall of water or an aquadome, they are good down for about 12 degrees, down to about 20 degrees. Yeah. So I've seen the walls of water, actually the water freeze solid in them, like columns of ice inside the walls of water, and the plant inside was like fine. Yeah, that's just fine, because as the water freezes, it releases a little bit of energy, and if you close those walls of water up, then it retains the energy inside as heat, and it actually gets warmer inside, even though it's freezing the water on the outside, and generates a lot of extra heat when it's not freezing, and so then your plants grow faster as well too. So those walls of water are quite miraculous. In fact, you could plant a tomato out right now, and it will survive for the next month. It's probably not going to grow a whole lot, but that wall of water will make sure it doesn't freeze and doesn't get damaged, and it might put a little bit of growth on. And then I'll plant my tomatoes about the 10th or 15th of I don't know, May, and they'll produce about the same time.
Yeah. But some people still want to plant them now.
I know, it's like it's a challenge.
And how much benefit do you have from it? 2 weeks in the harvest?
Maybe, if that much. That's what I'm saying. It's like you could plant one right now, baby it for the next 6 weeks, or I'll plant mine in 6 weeks, and they'll produce about the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that works. So on your hardscape in your backyard that you've got at home in Holland, do you put planters out there, and you have like a tomato?
And, like I said, 50% is cobblestones, and all the other ones are border plants.
Okay, yeah, water plants.
Border.
Yeah. So that sounds awesome. So little small garden. Do you grow a lot of your own vegetables, or
no vegetables?
No vegetables.
Just tulips.
Just edible flowers.
In my front yard, I planted 50 different alliums.
50?
Yeah, different.
Holy smoke! And they really bloom a long time.
Yeah.
The alliums have a really long bloom period. Yeah. So that
and I use them only for photo material.
Yeah, very nice, very, very nice. So no edibles in your yard except for the edible flowers.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll have to educate Hank on growing some more vegetables at home. So that'll work. He's teaching us about bulbs. We're going to teach him about vegetables. So we do have about 5 minutes left in the show, a little bit more, like 7. And 753-5868, 753 KVNU. If you'd like to join us here on the Garden Guide, we'd be happy to take your questions or comments, and we can visit with Hank while he's here. So, yeah, fruit trees. Do you have any fruit trees on your property? No fruit trees. No, just go to the open market and buy your veggies every day.
Well, in Holland you see quite a bit small stands on the side of the roads where you buy your fruit.
Right. So still very locally grown and really, really fresh. And it's just you're going to let somebody else do that work.
Yeah. How long is the growing season in Holland?
In Holland, last chance of frost is May till mid-October.
Okay.
So it's similar then. Yeah, it's quite similar then. So last year, an unusual summer for us. We had frost on the 19th of, I think it was the 18th of June. Yeah, it was like really, really late.
I was
frost.
Scrambling to cover some stuff.
Oh, yeah, everybody was protecting stuff.
Yeah, but the same in Holland happens.
Yeah, and it's just like, that doesn't happen very often where we get one in June. I mean, I've seen it snow multiple times in June, but having a hard frost like that late in June, that was pretty unusual.
Well, if you go more to the west of Holland, it's later too. I live on the coast.
Yeah.
I live half mile from the North Sea coast, so the warm water protects
and so the water keeps it. Yeah, the water keeps it a little bit warmer, a little milder, kind of similar to the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, here in the United States. So very, very, very interesting. Okay, any other flower bulbs that we should discuss this spring?
You talked about the amaryllis already.
Yeah. We talked amaryllis. We talked about glads and dahlias and lilies, and seriously, I've never heard about planting lilies on its side. We must not have ever talked about that. So I'm excited to try. I'm excited to try it. And the great thing about the lilies is once you get them planted, you don't have to dig them up.
No, they come hardy, winter hardy.
They just stick around, and they do multiply. Too.
And like same with tulips, hyacinths, daffodils. You disbud the bud after blooming.
Yeah.
Same in Holland. We don't want to see the flowers.
Yeah.
So we cut all the flowers off, destroy it. We want to see the bulbs.
Want to see the bulbs. Yeah. All right.
I remember watching video of one of the tulip cuts. And
a big machine coming over the field.
These beautiful fields, and then they just whack them down.
Just like gone.
But
it's commercial.
It's the way to do it, right?
Well, if you're going to sell the bulbs, you got to have really nice bulbs.
Right.
And if you let them bloom, then it uses.
And if people do it after blooming here, energy goes back to the bulb.
To the bulb, yeah. So you always want to take the flower bud off after it's done, but leave the stem.
Yeah.
And then
take a look at miracles. If you take the flower off, the dead flower multiplies like crazy.
It keeps going. Yeah.
It's quite a bit of work. But.
Yeah. It is. It is a little bit of work.
That is, we wouldn't have the tulips here if it weren't for the commercial terrain.
Exactly.
in Holland
exactly.
and places like
that is the absolute truth. Absolute truth. Okay, so let's see. We didn't talk begonias. So begonias are also a really nice bulb.
Begonias.
Yeah. But those are unusual in the fact that they will bloom all summer long.
Yeah.
So,
but you have to plant them in shady area.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Many years back when my kids were little, we would plant begonias, and I'd put them on the east side of my house because it's like pretty shady over there. But if they would get, like the pots would get pushed a little bit to the south because the kids were like using the driveway to like ride their bikes and do stuff, they'd kind of move the planters sometimes just a little bit south, and then they'd get some afternoon like sun that would sneak in, and it would just fry them. They'd just get sunburnt.
Morning sun is okay,
but with begonias, I think they have some of the most vibrant color of any flowers that you can grow. The colors are just so intense. Yeah. And then when they're in a shady location like that, then they're even more vibrant.
They show more.
Yeah, they're just so gorgeous. And so I think a lot of gardeners forget how beautiful the begonias are, how long their bloom season is, and they kind of get neglected a little bit. And we're just like happy doing marigolds and petunias and stuff.
I don't know you ever knows, but when you plant tulips or flowers in a shady area, the colors are much harder.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I noticed that this yesterday at the temple.
Yeah.
The colors were more harder, how you call it? True to color.
Oh, so more
less fading. And
okay, yeah. So the colors like they
because
last.
there was a cool spring and
they last longer. Yeah. Very, very interesting. I know sunlight is great for the plants, but sometimes it fades the colors out a little bit. So yeah, but those begonias super, super colorful. So our show's about up, isn't it, Jason?
We've got about 7 minutes.
Oh, have we got that much?
Sorry, 3 minutes.
I was going to say, it's like, wait a minute, my clock is.
It's too early
my
for
clock
math.
is off. My clock is off.
I generally can't do math until around noon. So
that's how that works. Okay, since we only have a couple minutes left, any last words, Hank, for our listeners? Anything on bulbs that we should know about for spring, or something we forgot or missed?
Oh,
yeah, we tried to cover all of it.
Yeah,
all the good stuff. So
if you want to locate your daffodils, do it after blooming.
Okay,
because sometimes they don't bloom after several years. You have to give more space.
Yeah. They get overcrowded. Yeah, a little bit too tight. Last year, I had some daffodils left over because we had winter hit, and I still had some daffodils left over, and the soil was kind of not quite frozen, but getting pretty close. And so I just put them right on the surface of the soil, and then I threw 4 to 6 inches of
mulch
of just like not even mulch, but I just used like a raised bed mix and just threw that over the top of them, and they're in full bloom right now. They look amazing.
That's what we tried at Cornell University. Yeah. You put the tulips and daffodils on top of the soil.
Yeah.
And cover them up with 6 inches of mulch.
Yeah.
And they came back.
And they just come right up through.
Years.
Yeah. So I did some of the mini daffodils, and then I did some of the full size daffodils as well too. And they all wintered perfectly. They look great. But after I put that mulch down, I watered them really, really well. Yeah, so it was nice and moist, and then we had a little bit of snow cover, and but they were moist all winter.
And do you ever get a request that the peonies are not blooming?
Not recently. No, not recently.
Usually people plant them too deep.
Too deep on the peonies. You're just like, what, 2 inches, even less on the eyes?
Half inch
on the eyes, so not too deep on the peonies. So yeah, and peonies are just starting to come in right now as well too. So, well, thank you all for listening to the Garden Guide. This has been Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and Hank Stuifbergen with Stuifbergen Bulbs. Thanks for being on the show, Hank.
You're welcome.
It's great to have you every single year, and we appreciate you taking the time to come and visit with us. At Anderson Seed and Garden, we've got a class today, the Pansy Wreath Making class. It's a blast. You should come. We've got a giant pumpkin growing class next Saturday at 1 o'clock. Make sure and sign up on our website for those classes. We've got our spring planting event coming up on the 26th of April. That is a blast and really a fun time to come in, and we'll provide the labor and soil for you to plant your plants. You come in and buy the plants, buy a new planter, and we'll take care of you. But make sure you sign up for that event as well, too. Primroses are $4 for 2 this weekend, if you mention that. So great time to come and get some primroses. Pansies look amazing. They're in full bloom, and lots of plants at Anderson's, including bare root trees, bare root fruits, and onions. We will see you next week on the Garden Guide.